Hi, my name is Ellie. I'm 21 years old from Carmel, Indiana. From living abroad with my family during my childhood, I grew up with the exposure to many different countries and cultures, which planted a seed for my love of travel and study abroad. This led me to participate in a language immersion program in France while in high school. I lived with a wonderful host family and learned more than I could have ever dreamed of during the 7 weeks of my program. A few years later, I moved to Italy for a summer abroad. I was living in an apartment with a few of my close friends, which was unlike my previous experiences abroad. All of this brings me to today, looking back on the last 5 months of my most extensive study abroad thus far. As I reflect on my experiences abroad, I can see more clearly what made each of them unique, challenging, yet incredibly rewarding. Once you experience something so profound, it is increasingly difficult to limit any preconceived ideas of similar experiences. This is exactly what happened to me before moving to Spain. Coming into this program, I was eager to learn Spanish, connect with my host family, and start my internship. Without even knowing it, I was creating expectations based on my previous experiences. I can vividly remember the few days leading up to my departure, where I heard time and time again, "Are you nervous? You must be scared. How much have you prepared?" To all of these inquiries, I answered, "No, I'm not scared, just excited. It can't be that hard. I mean, it's Spain." I was completely unaware of the challenges I would face, and instead blinded by my previous experiences and subconscious expectations of perfection. When I arrived in Spain, I immediately realized that there was, in fact, a quite large language barrier. Nevertheless, I tried to stay positive and soak in all that I could of my new city. I'd expected to learn Spanish quite quickly. Boy, was I wrong. In fact, it did not come easy at all, and took a lot of work to snap out of my previous French language background. Not only that, but I was used to full immersion language programs, where apprehension is extremely quick, whereas here I was always speaking more English than I ever was Spanish. The reality of this made me feel weak, unintelligent, and all around a bit confused. I found it extremely difficult to accept the fact that I was not adjusting to the language barrier as well as I had expected. From this, I learned just how much I value communication. I expected to become extremely close to my host mom, just as I had in France. This was not the case. I was unable to express my thoughts and feelings to my new host mom. We could not communicate in the same ways I expected us to. We did not bond immediately or find common ground. Instead, we were distant, and I found myself regretting the decision to choose a homestay. I felt lost and unknown living with someone I could not build a solid relationship with. Eventually, the expectations I had about the language and homestay started to reveal misconceptions I had regarding my internship. I came into my wedding planning internship with wide eyes and a heart eager to learn it all. After coming from all of my previous jobs where I was given ample responsibilities, I expected exactly that. Not only this, but I had this imaginary image of the luxurious life of a destination wedding planner who gets to visit incredible locations, talk to celebrity clients, and sip coffee all day. Again, boy, was I wrong. I was completely unprepared for the challenges of integrating into a new cultural work environment. The distance that I was feeling between myself and my coworkers was something I'd never experienced before. Never in my life had I felt this left out of the team. It made me feel confused, helpless, and even a bit frustrated because none of my qualifications were making my job easier. Yet again, in my new Spanish life, I found myself upset because the reality had not met my expectations. Time and time again, I let my previous experiences shape an unrealistic expectation about my time in Mallorca. Rather than accepting the challenges as they came to me, I questioned why they were happening. It took me many months and a lot of reflection to understand that the root of my problems were not the problems themselves. Rather, they were the completely absurd expectations I had about my experience. If there's one thing I could change about my entire experience in Spain, it would be to come back completely open-minded with no assumptions or expectations for what would be in store. After a lot of reflection, I accept the expectations I came to Palma with and the challenges they caused. However, I now know I'm capable of recognizing something new for what it is and not for something I expect it to be.